I rise to oppose the Governor's address to this House and support the amendments as suggested by my colleagues. Speaker Sir, Goa is privileged to have an eminent personality as its governor in Shri Pillai. I'm sure when he gets up in the morning, he must be not sure what is going to hit him during the day. Because when he came to this house, he kept referring to my government, my government, my government. And as his position demands, it is his duty to keep saying my government. But having interacted with the gentleman, I'm sure deep down, he himself would be disturbed just as we are. And to mention a few issues. Number one, Speaker Sir, this government has had to face a fiasco when it came to the Zilla elections. They kept promising elections and ultimately they suddenly preponed the elections. Whether it was a deliberate attempt to misguide the voters, misguide the candidates, I'm not too sure. But the last slap this government got was in the to be held Panchayat elections. The government first said that due to the OBC reservations, they need time. Then the government took a stand to say that due to monsoons, they could not hold the elections. And then suddenly, Speaker Sir, the poor governor summons the House and the government says, due to the assembly, we cannot hold the elections. It had to be the High Court and the Supreme Court to direct this government to hold the elections in the monsoon period, which is normally not really held. Speaker Sir, Goa is known to be a touristic state. The Honorable Minister for Tourism has expressed his intentions to attract good quality tourists. But Speaker Sir, I'm sure when he's entering Panjim, he must have seen that, to just give one example, that near the Kadamba bus stand, you find so many touts who, as soon as they see an outside vehicle, they attract their attention, stop the vehicle, and these touts, as I call them, lead these innocent tourists to stray places. Goa has recently had incidents where tourists have been kidnapped, held to ransom, money extracted from them. This never happened before, Speaker Sir. Goa is known as a touristic spot, and I therefore believe it is the responsibility of this government to ensure that these type of incidents don't happen. Today, Speaker Sir, coming to the police department, a very important department. We've had so many cases of rape, murder, so many such cases. I agree, the government cannot provide a policeman behind each citizen. But policing system has to improve. Whilst demanding them a better system from them, I think one of the important things will be quality of personnel that are being employed by this government. For example, recently I read somewhere that the government is taking action because they have found corruption or they have found irregularities in selection of police sub-inspectors. Speaker Sir, talking on that, I also believe this government has to be more sensitive to the needs of the policemen. I'll just give you one example. Maina Kurturi police station, which happens to be by the side of near my house. It is a sad sight to see that those poor constables are seated, because it is so small, the constables are seated in the corridor. And these days during the rain water is going in and they have to still sit under those conditions and work. I think the government should be more humane to them. Speaker Sir, my colleague was talking about shortage of water. I have villages in my constituency that for 5, 6, 7 days, like villages of Betalbati, Uttorla, Majorda, Kalata, they had no water. And what was the excuse given by the engineers? That the pressure coming into the area was not sufficient for water to reach all these places. The government has to be sensitive. Gone are the days, Speaker Sir, where people used to depend on their wells. We have all got used to that tap water, and therefore I believe a solution should be found. Speaker Sir, I have the privilege of being the MLA of Nuvai constituency. Unfortunately, for reasons best known to the Revenue Department and, to the Waste Management Department, I think it's called, the Minister is the same. They've identified a site at Varna Industrial Estate to set up a garbage treatment plant. Speaker Sir, believe me, the department is talking of 1 lakh square meters on paper. But the truth is, this department has just 50,000 square meters of land in their possession. 50,000 is, I think, if I may say, they are dreaming of. Speaker Sir, this site is at Varna. This site is also supposed to be part of the flight, or the, as you call, the funnel area for landing and taking off of aircrafts. Speaker Sir, Goa has had incidents in the past of bird hit incidents affecting flights. Speaker Sir, Goa is supposed to be an international touristic site, and Goa is supposed to be privileged with an international airport. Has this government considered the risks that are being called for? No, Speaker Sir. This government has gone and called for an environment impact assessment report. Speaker Sir, this is the first time I'm hearing that the experts have delivered to the government a draft environment impact assessment report. I repeat, draft report. It is sought that a report be given by them. What is the purpose of submitting to the government a draft impact assessment report? Is it for the government to do the corrections? Their job was to do an impact assessment report and give it to the government, and not give a draft report for the government to approve. Speaker Sir, this is wrong. And that is why I believe even that report has been manipulated, Speaker Sir. Speaker Sir, further, the site selected is surrounded with a lot of habitation. Speaker Sir, we have before our eyes what has happened at Sonslo. We have before our eyes what has happened at Marmagaon Headland. And Speaker Sir, virgin areas, are you trying to destroy them? Speaker Sir, this site is surrounded by minimum 32 springs. And here we are selecting this site. The water from there will go down to the groundwater, pollute the groundwater, and therefore you are forcing people again to depend on your municipal water and not use water from the wells. Speaker Sir, we have seen in Margaon, we have seen in these other areas, the leachate flowing down into the surrounding areas. Are we out to destroy our environment is my question to this government. I don't know, Speaker Sir, how this government is so insensitive. And I again repeat, they should order a fresh impact assessment report once they have in their possession 100,000 square meters, and not with just 50,000 square meters. Speaker Sir, through this constituency, we have the 3 linear projects issue. I will talk primarily on double tracking. I will talk primarily on coal transportation. Speaker Sir, if and when you have the time, I would deem it a privilege if you come along with me and see for yourself the conditions under which these people are living today with just a single track. Imagine their plight once it is double track. Speaker Sir, See the coal pollution. The government may claim many things. The transporters may claim many things. But the fact remains with this singular line as of today, you go to the site and see the amount of coal dust, see the amount of coal that is lying along the tracks. I therefore, in all humility, request this government reconsider the projects, listen to the voice of the people, and let us come out with a solution to satisfy them.
Yes, okay. Where is appeal?
Last 2 points. I'll finish in 2 minutes. Speaker, sir, I happen to be an inheritor of an old house in the village of Raya. It is most surprising and shocking to tell you that this house has been declared part of private forest. Speaker, sir, I believe that this department has sat with Google, the Google Maps. They've seen greenery, not bothered to check what is what, but sitting in the office in Panjim, they've just identified. And very intelligent people, Speaker, sir, because they have not identified that particular subdivision. But what do they say? Survey number 151, in brackets, part. I believe the time has come when the government should come out clean on this, remove these areas if they are not private forests, make a study and reduce problems of the public. And the last, Speaker, sir, this government has announced so many schemes. At times I wonder whether they have a human heart, which if you go by the scheme, they definitely want to project. But today there are families, Speaker, sir, there are ladies, Speaker, sir, there are widows, there are children who are eligible for the monthly amounts government has sanctioned. But in my constituency, people for the last 6, 8, 9 months have not received a naya paisa. Therefore, I request the Minister for Social Welfare to immediately ensure, we have Mr. Faldesai, a very dynamic person otherwise, but immediately ensure that this money is distributed to the beneficiaries.
Yes.
Thank you, Speaker.
Yeah, okay.